Joseph Murphy's Wealth Prayer. How to attract abundance is not a whispered wish, it's a blueprint. Picture your mind as a silent workshop before dawn. The moment the right idea enters, unseen engines wake and the outer world quietly rearranges. Joseph Murphy taught a simple reversal. You don't work on conditions, you work on consciousness. Your body, your home, your bank account are the mathematics of an inner premise. Today you'll learn to affirm like one who signs a covenant with Source. Simple, exact, serene. No strain, conviction. And when that conviction descends into the subconscious, ordinary doors become portals. Stay with me to the final minute. The revelation that seals this prayer doesn't live at the start, it's born at the end. We do not labor on conditions, we labor on consciousness. The only true workshop is within. Be transformed by the renewal of your mind, not by wrestling with bills, deadlines, or the rigid faces of circumstance. Your body, your environment, and your bank account are measurements, mathematical reflections of your inner equation. Alter the premise, and the sum changes. This is the great, quiet advantage granted to every human soul. You can retire from the war with appearances and enter the temple where words become flesh. Whatsoever things you ask when you pray, believe you have received them, and you shall have them. To many, this sounds like poetry. To Murphy, it was architecture, a blueprint for dependable results. Prayer is not pleading with a reluctant universe. Prayer is acceptance, calm, bold, and exact, of the good already prepared. You impress the idea as fact upon the deeper mind, and the deeper mind goes to work in silence, arranging means and men, hours and outcomes into your answered prayer. But how, asks the worried voice, do I convince my deeper mind that I am rich when common sense says I am late on the mortgage and the phone keeps ringing with demands? You cannot if you keep giving your inner ear to lack. You cannot if you rehearse anxieties like lines in a tragic play. The subconscious accepts what is repeated with feeling. It learns as you learn to walk, through patterns rehearsed until they become reflex. What you teach it through word, image, and expectancy, it expresses on the screen of space as events, meetings, checks, and open doors. This is why formulas like "I am rich and prosperous" may seem to fail for some. If beneath the words the heart is loyal to the old belief in scarcity, the affirmation merely throws a spotlight on lack. The remedy is not louder words, the remedy is truer seeing. Turn from counting debts to recognizing Source. Look at the sky that gives you air, the earth that grows oranges without asking your permission, the intelligence that started your heartbeat before you had a name. There is one life, and it is your life now. There is one Source, and it lives in you as idea, guidance, and supply. Speak to it not as a stranger, but as the ground of your being. God is the source of my supply. All my needs, spiritual, mental, material, are met at every point of time and space. God's wealth is circulating in my life, and there is always a divine surplus. Do not chant this mechanically. Feel it. Let the words fall into the deeper soil like seeds after rain. Let your breath settle and your shoulders drop. Allow the sense of already being provided for to wash through your nerves like sunlight across a winter room. The subconscious does not respond to frantic effort. It responds to conviction suffused with peace. The farmer does not shout his harvest into being. He trusts the law, waters the seed, and lets the wheat outgrow the weeds. Joy is not a luxury, joy is a lever. The joy of the Lord is my strength. Joy is the chemistry of answered prayer. When you practice quiet, glad expectancy, you alter circulation, posture, even the timbre of your voice. You become a tuned instrument through which ideas and opportunities play themselves into form. Anxiety constricts, joy expands. Anxiety rehearses losses, joy rehearses gains. Anxiety asks how with clenched hands, joy says thank you with open ones, and the channel widens. Consider the woman who held her last $5 like a small ember in a cold room. Instead of freezing her mind to the arithmetic of lack, she warmed it with the arithmetic of God. You multiply my good exceedingly. All my needs are met now. She spent what she had with a free heart, and the very act became a signal flare to the invisible supply. Within days, a job offer appeared, then a marriage, then a life woven with provision. Do not stumble over the mechanics. It is not about the specific sequence of events. It is about the state she assumed and sustained. The subconscious magnifies what you emphasize. Or consider the artist who sits before an empty canvas and says, "Reveal to me the new, the beautiful, the useful." Ideas are also currency. The subconscious is a workshop where unseen drafts become blueprints for inventions, enterprises, and relationships. When you call upon intelligence, it answers. When you still the surface and expect the best, the deeper current moves. There is an invisible law of opulence, and you cooperate with it by choosing your inner conversation. Never become a skilled narrator of deprivation. Do not bargain with neighbors in the language of hard times. Do not scold your life for being small. Speak to your day as a king would, with gratitude that assumes abundance and with instructions that are clear. Use the money you have freely as a steward of a river that never runs dry. Each generous act is a stroke of oar that pulls you into wider waters. A beauty salon owner once wrote a prayer on an index card and read it before unlocking the door each morning. Peace fills this place. Love saturates my being. The infinite prospers and inspires me. Everyone who enters is blessed. Within 3 months, she needed more chairs, more staff, more hours. She did not force success, she aligned with it, then let it unfold with order. That is grace demystified, the orderly reflection of your habitual thinking. The same law heals marriages, careers, and homes. A couple who had made enemies of each other began separately to affirm the divine identity of the other. God's love fills and guides you. You are prospered in all your ways. The bitterness dissolved like fog under sun. Promotion followed, not because fortune had a change of mood, but because their consciousness changed its address. If you are tempted to cling to worry like a talisman, remember, worry is a negative prayer, a rehearsal for the very outcome you dread. Quiet your body, quiet your breath, and say gently, "It is done unto me as I believe." All things are ready if the mind be so. Then let the mind be so. Let it be ready. If the soil of your mind can be taught a new season, what harvest have you been postponing simply by rehearsing winter? There is a way to move from strain to creation, from forcing to allowing. The oak does not sweat its ascent from acorn to tree. The pattern is in the seed. Your idea of wealth, faithfully planted, is an acorn of events. It carries within it meetings you have not imagined, solutions you have not earned, and timings you could never coordinate by willpower alone. Deposit the pattern. Water it with gratitude. Protect it from the scavengers of fear and gossip. Then let it die into the soil of the subconscious so it may rise as something greater than your first draft. How do you plant an idea? You select a statement that is true in the language of the soul, present, simple, and generous, and you dwell with it until it feels like home. I am a free-flowing channel of harmony, beauty, guidance, and wealth. God's wealth circulates in my life, and there is always a divine surplus. I live in joyous expectancy of the best, and invariably the best comes to me. The words are not magic. The mood they evoke is the magic. Your deeper mind hears in moods. It organizes reality around the atmosphere you refuse to surrender. Beware the self-sabotage of contradiction. Many pray for abundance at dawn and then spend the day saying, "I can't afford it. It never works out for me. People like me don't get ahead." This is like giving the taxi driver 6 addresses and then reporting him for taking too long. Give one address once with confidence. If doubt whispers, do not argue with it. Return to the address. God is my source. All my needs are met. Every return is momentum. Every return is mastery. Remember also the gentle engineering of peace. In quietness and in confidence shall be your strength. Anxiety is a poor foreman. It barks orders and builds crooked walls. Calm is the master builder. When the mind rests in the consciousness of Source, the right ideas arrive like skilled workers at dawn, each knowing their task. Sit in that stillness daily, even if only for a few minutes. Tell your body to be at ease. It will obey. Tell your mind to receive. It will listen. Tell your heart to be glad. It will remember how. Let us be practical. If you are facing a deadline or a number that seems impossible, do not beg time to shrink or money to multiply. Turn instead to the law. The light of God shines in me. Infinite intelligence now reveals the perfect channels for supply. I am guided to right action, and what I need appears at the right time in the right way. Then act on the guidance you receive, however ordinary it appears. Often the miracle wears work clothes. Promotion is a consciousness before it is a title. One salesman, long stalled in the same role, began each morning with a simple decree: I am in harmony with the infinite riches within and without. Ideas of service and value flow to me and through me. He stopped auditioning for sympathy and started auditioning for usefulness. Within weeks, his numbers rose, not because fate felt sorry for him, but because the inner premise had changed. In a month, he was made sales manager. Your subconscious has ways you know not of. Let it work. Now, breathe. Because this is the moment I invite you to do something more than listen. If the last few minutes have stirred a deeper yes in you, join us for the 21-day challenge to create your dream life. The link is in the description and the pinned comment. For 21 days, we will practice exactly what Murphy taught: planting the right seed, watering it with feeling, and refusing to contradict it. Short daily exercises, clear affirmations, gentle accountability, not a sprint, an awakening. When you change the current, the sea changes. And now, back to our unfolding. Money is a symbol. Treat it with respect, not worship. Spend what you have with a sense of circulation, not loss. Rejoice in the prosperity of others, for envy is self-directed scarcity. When you bless another's increase, you bless your own channel by confirming that the river has many branches. The feeling of wealth produces wealth, not greed, but the serene sense that there is enough and to spare. Nature is extravagant. Orchards drop more fruit than hands can gather. If the tropics can afford to waste sweetness, surely your life can afford to circulate it. There is also a moral dimension to supply. Become a clear channel. Clean your speech of complaint. Cleanse your attention of doom. Do not hoard fear. It molds. Establish a method. Morning and night, 5 to 10 minutes. Sit, breathe, affirm. See the outcome as present. Give thanks. During the day, whenever fear speaks, reply with one sentence and a smile. All things are ready if the mind be so. Then take the next right action, however small. The law likes momentum. Some outcomes arrive through people. Let love be your signature energy. Love unclenches doors that genius cannot pick. One man and woman, tangled in blame, began to pray for each other's good. They stopped trying to control outcomes and started saluting the divinity in one another. The result? A phone call, a second chance, a restored home. When you release another to their God, you free yourself to receive your own. And some outcomes arrive through ideas. If you are an artist, inventor, professional, ask daily for the new and the useful. Reveal to me the idea that blesses many. Then keep a notebook. The subconscious speaks in sketches and fragments. Capture them. Follow one idea long enough to plant it. Do not dig it up every afternoon to see if it is growing. Finally, learn the sacred lightness of trust. If you have prayed and still feel tense, you have not released it. Give it again. Not with force, never with force, but with the relaxed strength of someone who knows how this story ends. Before they call, I will answer. While they are yet speaking, I will hear. Rest your case with the infinite and walk on, as if the door is already opening, because it is. What if the next door requires no key, only a new atmosphere within you that makes the handle turn by itself? Let's refine the craft of inner causation. Imagine your consciousness as a great city of thoughts, beliefs, and images. Who dwells there? What laws rule the streets? The city prospers when its citizens, your thoughts, conform to the divine standard, ideas of peace, plenty, guidance, and goodwill. When panic becomes mayor, crime rises in the form of mischances, broken agreements, and self-sabotage. Elect a new government today. Install quiet confidence as chief of staff, gratitude as treasurer, clarity as architect, and love as the constable who keeps order without violence. Set a daily order of service, stillness. Be still, body. Shoulders soften, jaw unclenches, breath lengthens. The body obeys the mind that speaks with calm authority. Recognition. God is the source and substance of my supply. Infinite intelligence runs this universe and runs my life. Let the truth be bigger than your name. Claim. Speak your desire as present fact in the language of Murphy. To ask is to claim. All my needs are met at every point of time and space. I am guided to the right people and the right doors. God's wealth circulates in my life. There is always a surplus. Feeling. Tilt the heart toward gratitude until it tips. Let a small smile arise. The subconscious listens to smiles more than speeches. Release. It is done unto me as I believe. And now, do your next ordinary task with extraordinary peace. If you find yourself tempted by the old loyalties, I can't, it's hard, not enough. Remember Murphy's stern kindness. Can't is the only devil. Replace it with a gentler honesty. I don't yet see how, but the how is not my work. My work is belief and wise action. This truth disarms the critic without pretending you never felt fear. Let's talk about momentum. The law does not need your panic, it needs your consistency. 5 quiet minutes, morning and night, will build a golden habit that outlives moods. Think of it as spiritual compound interest, small deposits of peace accumulating into a fortune of calm results. If you miss a session, do not perform a ceremony of guilt. Return as a prodigal to the practice. The infinite does not keep score, only promises. Now a word on generosity, for many misread it. Giving under the spell of fear is an attempt to bribe fate. Giving under the spell of love is an overflow of knowing. Circulate your good as a sign that you understand the river. Pay your debts with dignity. Tip the world with a grateful hand. Lift others without measuring the return. The subconscious notes your posture and multiplies its harvest accordingly. When obstacles appear, decline the invitation to wrestle. Obstacles are shadows of an old premise. Update the premise and the shadow moves. A judge's decision, a client's delay, a number on a screen. These are not sovereign powers. They are moving pictures framed by your deeper state. Go inward where no judge sits, but the one who always rules in your favor, the intelligence that formed you and refuses to abandon its own work. Do not mistake quietness for passivity. Inner causation makes you more practical, not less. The guided person answers emails with clarity, shows up 5 minutes early, keeps promises, and looks others in the eye. The guided person reads contracts with patience and asks wise questions. The guided person takes the small next step when the mountain seems tall. 1 call, 1 draft, 1 handshake, 1 seed. Faith does not float above the world, it walks it with clean shoes. If grief or fatigue presses on you, let your prayer be tenderness itself. The peace of God fills my soul. The life of God restores me now. Rest. Let the river carry you for a while. You are not disqualified by exhaustion. You are invited to learn a softer strength. Often, after such rest, ideas arrive with the crispness of autumn air. There will be moments when you feel nothing, when the words seem dry. Continue anyway. The farmer does not accuse the earth between seed and sprout. He guards the field. Guard your field. Watch your speech. Speak of solutions, not catastrophes. If you must discuss a problem, do it as a physician does, with accuracy, calm, and an eye toward cure. Mark this: your life is not a negotiation with scarcity. It is an arrangement with law. The law states, as within, so without. It is done unto you as you believe. Hold to this with the tenacity of a sailor steering by Polaris. Clouds may hide the star for an hour, but the star has not moved. And should you ever wonder whether you are doing it right, here is Murphy's simple test. How do you feel after you pray? If tense, you have not finished. Pray until peace arrives. If peaceful, proceed. In that peace, your subconscious has received its orders, and the universe quietly, efficiently, inexorably has begun to rearrange. If peace is the signature on your request, are you willing to sign every desire before you send it into the vast and faithful mailroom of the infinite? Let us uplift our vision to the finale that our beginning promised. From the first sentence, we spoke of wealth as a river beginning where you stand. The promise was not merely that you would find coins in the stream, but that you would discover you are the spring, because the source lives in you as consciousness. You are not the beggar at the temple gate. You are the temple, and the treasure is within. Now, witness the cinema of your own transformation. The lights dim, the orchestra hushes. On the screen appears a simple scene. You at a table, early morning, the city not yet awake. You place a hand over your heart and whisper, God is the source of my supply. All my needs are met at every point of time and space. You breathe. A warmth gathers in your chest. Not fireworks, just a small sunrise. You feel permitted to relax, and in that relaxation, a picture arises. You making a call you've avoided, writing a proposal with unusual clarity, walking into a room with unborrowed confidence. You say thank you as if it already happened, because in the language of the deeper mind, it has. Cut to a marketplace later that day. The world plays its ordinary music, deliveries, deadlines, laughter, but you move through it like a bell sounding true. A conversation you did not plan opens to an invitation you did not expect. A check arrives that was supposedly delayed. A meeting becomes the door. You do not shout, "It worked!" You smile, because you and the law have become friends. You say quietly, "Of course." Cut again. Evening. You count blessings instead of wounds. You bless others' triumphs instead of envying them. You lay down to sleep with a clean mind, and sleep becomes a workshop where the subconscious stitches ideas into plans. In the morning, a new thought is waiting on your pillow like a letter. Across these scenes, silent prayer, useful action, gracious receiving, runs the same golden thread. You chose your atmosphere, and the atmosphere chose your outcomes. This is Murphy's wisdom in cinematic form. Work on conditions if you like, but you will grow tired. Work on consciousness, and the work becomes joy. Let us seal this with a vow shaped as an affirmation, not shouted but owned. I now enter partnership with the infinite. I claim guidance, right action, and divine supply. God's wealth circulates in my life. There is always a surplus. I think, speak, and act as one who knows this to be so. I rejoice in the prosperity of others and bless the channels through which supply reaches me. I am calm, consistent, and grateful. It is done unto me as I believe, and I believe in the lavish order of God. Carry this into every room. Leave it on your desk like a lamp that is never switched off. Let your colleagues feel it in your composure. Let your family hear it in your laughter. Let strangers catch it in the way you hold a door. Wealth is not only money. It is the surplus of love, ideas, time, and health. As you prosper along all lines, money becomes a symbol that follows, not a master that leads. We close where we began, under the starlit sea. The surface is calm. Beneath, the current moves with purpose you no longer doubt. You are not at the mercy of waves. You are allied with the depths. Before you call, it answers. While you are yet speaking, it hears. Let the last word of this journey be the one that begins all others. Thank you for the idea, for the guidance, for the open path under your feet. And if this film of words found you and lifted you, walk with us a little farther. Become a channel member for early access to future videos, deeper sessions, and extended practices. Join the circle that practices together, believes together, and witnesses together the mathematics of grace. The river is wider when we travel it as one. Tonight, let your last thought be a seed. God's wealth circulates in my life. There is always a surplus. Sleep and let the current carry you where your daylight never could.
you.